This is not breaking news. This is not a scandal. This is not about one person. What you are about to hear is a quiet but dangerous systemic failure that could change everything. It's not about accusations. It's not about partisan lines. It's about something far more insidious at play, lurking beneath the surface. The kinds of failures that don't make headlines, but that, if left unchecked, could unravel everything we know. It doesn't matter who you think is responsible. It doesn't matter who you believe is to blame. This is not a story of individuals or sides. It's about a machine that's been running unchecked for far too long. And its impact? Well, you won't want to be in the dark about that. Stay with me as we break down what's happening under the surface. Something is going very, very wrong. So, what controls this system now? It's not what you think. It's not the loudest voices. It's not the ones in front of the cameras. The true power? It lies in the shadows of bureaucracy, in the hands of institutions and structures that don't seek the spotlight. They don't need to. They've been running the show for years, out of sight, out of mind. And when the system starts to fail, or worse, when it starts to protect itself, there's no accountability. It's easy to blame individuals, but this isn't just about one person or one action. No, this is about something far more dangerous. A network of systems that have perfected the art of maintaining their grip on power, and they'll do whatever it takes to keep it. This is how they're able to get away with it, and it's how they will keep getting away with it unless someone steps in. You don't notice the slow shifts until it's too late. At first, it's almost imperceptible. One small change here, one tweak there, what once felt like an anomaly becomes the norm, until you realize the system has changed. Not for the better, but for the worse. Slowly, things that should be unthinkable become acceptable, and by the time it registers, the damage is already done. It's this gradual shift, the one that no one talks about, that is the most dangerous. It's never the sudden explosion of scandal. It's always the small things that slip through the cracks over time, the tiny adjustments that add up to something catastrophic. And by the time you notice, the system is so warped, so broken, you can't even recognize it anymore. But here's the thing. It's not too late. Not yet. Here's a concrete shock. But don't be fooled. It's just a symptom. In Detroit, Donald Trump was confronted by protesters, calling him out for his role in protecting pedophiles. And what did he do? He didn't respond with reason. He didn't engage in debate. Instead, he flipped them off, gave them the middle finger, and walked away. Now, you might think this is just another headline. But here's the thing. It's not about the gesture. It's about what's beneath it. This wasn't a spontaneous reaction. This is the same response we've seen over and over: deflection, denial, and the refusal to confront the deeper issue at hand. This is not an isolated event. It's part of a larger pattern, a pattern that shows exactly how deep the systemic failure runs. But that's just the beginning. It gets worse. Let's talk about how the system really works. It's not the flashy headlines that tell the truth. It's what's happening behind the scenes in the dark corners of power. You see, the Epstein files, the ones everyone's desperate to see, aren't just being hidden by one person. They're being controlled by a system that has its own interests. Who benefits here? Not the victims, not the public. No, it's the same people who always benefit, the ones at the top. The ones who can manipulate the legal process, who can ensure that nothing ever truly sees the light of day. The ones who control the information and the narrative, and who absorbs the damage? It's the survivors, the people who were hurt, the ones who suffer while those in power work tirelessly to keep their secrets locked away. This isn't about a failure of individuals. This is a failure of the entire system. Now, things are starting to move faster and they're getting uglier. MAGA Republicans like Mike Johnson and James Comer are scrambling to shift the focus. Instead of addressing the core issue, the Epstein files, they're trying to redirect blame. Suddenly, it's about Bill Clinton, not Trump, not the DOJ, Bill Clinton. They talk about contempt of Congress, subpoenas, and deflections. They don't talk about the real issue, the one that's been lurking in the shadows, the one that they're all desperately trying to avoid. It's a game. A dangerous game, but one they've been playing for years. And now, with the walls closing in, the pressure is mounting. People are running for cover. trying to dodge responsibility, deflecting and deflecting, and still the files remain hidden. Now, let me speak to you directly. You're watching this, right? You're hearing these words, but it's easy to stay detached, to believe that this doesn't affect you. It's easy to say this is just about politics, but it's not. The real victims of this failure, they're not the ones sitting in offices or behind microphones. They're the survivors, the ones whose lives were shattered. Their names are hidden. Their pain is buried. And yet, the people responsible are getting away with it. Ask yourself, what happens when the system fails those who need it the most? What happens when the truth is buried so deeply, no one even dares to dig? This isn't just someone else's problem, it's all of ours. This isn't just a local problem anymore. It's global. It's systemic. The ripples of this failure are already spreading. What started as a domestic issue has now become a matter of international concern. Countries are watching. The world is paying attention. What happens here affects more than just American politics. It affects the global order, the trust in institutions, the credibility of the systems we rely on. This isn't a matter of one country or one leader. It's a systemic breakdown that has implications for everyone, everywhere. And as the web of corruption and cover-up continues to unravel, there's no telling where it will stop. But here's the thing, it hasn't even reached its peak yet. We've only scratched the surface, and who knows how deep it goes. There are three paths ahead, three possible futures. The first is adjustment, a reckoning. The system corrects itself, forces step in, the truth is revealed, and there's an attempt to rebuild what's been broken. It's messy, it's painful, but there's hope for change. The second is erosion, a slow, relentless decay. The system doesn't break, but it corrodes from the inside out. The cracks grow deeper, but the world keeps turning. Nothing is truly fixed. It gets worse, but in ways we don't immediately feel. And then there's rupture. The worst case scenario, the whole system implodes. The cover-up is exposed in full, but the damage is irreversible. Trust is destroyed. The institutions that we rely on crumble. And the consequences ripple through every part of society. Which path will we take? It's too soon to say. But the choices we make now will determine which one we get. The question remains, what will we do now? The clock is ticking. The walls are closing in. The truth is out there waiting to be uncovered, but will it be? Will anyone step up and expose what's really happening? The choice is in our hands. But don't think it will be easy. Don't think the truth will come without a fight. These systems don't give up control willingly. And yet, this is the moment that will define everything that comes next, the moment when everything could change, or when we allow the system to keep failing. We're at a crossroads. The question is, what will you do about it? Stay tuned, because this story is far from over.